Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you feel me? Can you see me? Hello, I am LV Darkling.
And I'm Eric R. Scheid.
And we are the Palace of Tears. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Yes, I actually do very much still identify as a performing artist, so that is still a present circumstance for me. So I apply that to the music, and hopefully it reads that way. Even though, yes, I am a vocalist and singer now, but I will always be a dancer as well. Eric moving to another location, yeah, in the beginning it was difficult. You know, we met abroad, but both knew we were Americans, so that made it a little easier. And we were at a distance for several months, and when the possibility of creating music became a reality, a decision had to be made. I quote Eric saying that. And starting my own project has been, it's not the first time. As in other performing arts incarnations, I usually at some point was doing something on my own, because I didn't necessarily want to wait for someone to hire me and employ me. So I've always kind of been an independent contractor in that way anyway, and self-starter. So once again, yes, I've done song and dance for other people. Now I'm doing it for myself, with myself, and with Eric. And so that part is sort of familiar, but also it's always much more rewarding, but it comes with more responsibility, and that makes it that much more rewarding, and I can have as much artistic liberty as I want, which is something that I've become accustomed to in my artistic career. So yeah, it feels natural.
Yeah, I was in a project before the Palace of Tears in a band called Mercury's Antenna for 10 years, and we released 2 full lengths and 2 EPs on Project Records. But after we performed at the Wave Treffen Festival in Leipzig, where I met Leah here in Berlin, Germany, I was planning to maybe make a move anyways. Well, I got to know Leah, and I started visiting her in New Orleans and fell in love with the city, and I've been thinking about New Orleans since I was pretty young, being a chef. And when I started to visit, I knew that this was going to be my new home. And then LV visited me in Portland, where I moved from, and we kind of jammed on a few demos, and I knew that something special could be happening between us musically. And I fell in love with her voice, I fell in love with her energy, and So we started working on an album together, and some of it was written prior to moving here, and then we completed it once I made my move. So, and we're bringing two different styles. I'm doing something a little bit more darker, sparser, and I'm a little more on the ambient side than my previous project. But we're also trying to bring a lot more intensity and female-fronted vocals as the main instrument as well. So it's just kind of a collaboration and a colliding of two energies with the hopes of offering something spacious, unique, and beautiful.
Thank you for the question. Gracias.
Can't feel you anymore.
Thank you for the question. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about that the beginning of the writing of this work was pre-pandemic. And so the journey of the message and the feeling, it took a turn, just like, it's reflected in some of the writing, it's reflected in some of the music. So it gave it a tinge, of that experience of degradation and things feeling like they were kind of coming apart at the seams for so many of us. So it's always important for art to serve that purpose. So I am beyond grateful that I have that ability to funnel these difficult experiences into art, and I will say that I feel it's probably very much the same for Eric, if not more so, and being together throughout it, not just musical collaborators, but life partners at this point in time. It's been that much, it's carried that much more depth of experience, and to have a studio here right at home, we really could just pour our entire selves into this project, and to have come out of this experience and say, we made something. We made a diamond out of a piece of coal, and it's a very special thing to have. And we were just discussing this earlier, that as professionals, and as performers, with a work ethic, that's what has been the hardest part. So where the silver lining has been that we've gotten all this exposure and we feel seen around the world. The fact that you guys in Barcelona are having us do this interview is just incredible. I just adore the support that we've received from overseas, but also being stuck in these virtual environments has left us with little, I guess, in the way, I mean, economically, income. It's not, it hasn't brought in that kind of circulation. You're getting the exposure, but you don't, you're not making ticket sales. So it hasn't really created a living for us, but it's certainly given us an opportunity to plant a billion seeds. So we're working to try to water and nurture those seeds, and it's just a lot of hope. But it hasn't been without its frustrations.
Yeah, I mean, us being performers on stage, and also have been in a few bands and put out a few albums. You spend some time in isolation making the record, and then you go out and you perform it, and you offer it to people, and you get to exercise all those demons of isolation and sacrifices to make some sort of art worthwhile. And then on top of that, maybe you will make a little something for your work, and it's always appreciated, and you hope to make enough to get you to the next gig and a little something more. I think what's been really strange is, one, being extremely isolated, and there's been a blessing because it gives you an opportunity to really focus on your art in the most meticulous of ways. Two, not having the kind of live interaction feedback with others. So when you're doing a stream, you're kind of looking at people's comments and you're trying to bring a sense of liveliness and realness and offering to people to engage with you through all this. But that also hasn't come without its own frustration too, because one, you're probably not going to make anything when you're putting a lot of your own time in it. Two, it's also a new skill set. I'm used to being a live musician. Sure, I make electronic music albums, but that's only for a limited time. I want to go out and play this stuff. So we're playing it not in front of anyone, and so there's been a lot of awkwardness trying to provide some sort of live, real, powerful, authentic expression, you know. And like I said, there's a skill set to learn. I mean, the amount of technology you have to learn to be able to pull off a stream nowadays is kind of a pain, you know. You have to make sure your recording's good, your imagery's good, the camera's good, lots of da-da-da-da-da. It can go on forever, you know. And it's also, at the same time, been really helpful because we are a band in the pandemic. We haven't had much opportunities to play live, obviously. So this has been really positive for us in the long run. We reach people all around the world, people I've never thought I would reach. Probably wouldn't even see the light of day on a touring live level, but I've been able to reach them through the world of the internet, you know. And then on top of that, DJs have been extremely supportive, playing our music, our kind of aesthetic through their streams, and it's all been very supportive, and there is a supportive community out there. So, but we're definitely looking forward to being in the live very soon, hopefully.